Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mayor Ben LUCARELLI, and welcome to the 2020 Fairhaven Veterans Day ceremony. The Veterans Day ceremony is one of the events I look forward to most as mayor, and I thank you all for joining us here today. This is our second virtual ceremony of 2020, and I can say confidently that we all hope to be back in Memorial Park, observing these days together as a community. For now, however, this will have to do. As a small token of our gratitude to those who have served, and with the assistance of the Foundation of Fairhaven, we have provided lawn signs to all veterans here in town, identifying these heroes among us. On Veterans Day, if you see one of these lawn signs, please honk as you drive by or clap as you walk by. This will let our veterans know we are thinking of them and help to show our collective thanks. On behalf of the Borough Council and governing body, I would like to thank our police, fire, and first aid departments for their efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. I would also like to thank our healthcare professionals and frontline workers of all kinds. And now, I would like to introduce Fairhaven Councilman and United States Marine Corps veteran, Mike MCCUE, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'd like to ask the Fairhaven Police Department to please present colors.
Detail, present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Fairhaven Police Department. It is my pleasure to introduce SOPHIE BARABAS to perform our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sophie. That was wonderful. Now, turn up your speakers as the RFH band performs a patriotic piece for us to enjoy.
Detail, attack, hut! Transform up! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you to the RFH band for putting that piece together. That was just terrific. Every year, the Knollwood 8th grade class holds a Veterans Day essay contest. These essays were judged, and we will hear from the top 3 winners today. First, I would like to introduce GRACYN Austin.
Freedom is at the heart of American society. It's what gives all citizens rights to have a family, a job, and a home. Freedom is what allows people to pursue a happy life. Throughout the world, people fight for freedom. Countries have different struggles with equality and rights. Here in the US, things aren't perfect. Many people are fighting to make a difference. However, the United States has made so many strides over time in fighting for equality and freedom for all. Many US rights and freedoms would not exist without the help of veterans. Throughout history, American veterans have fought for our freedoms. Our country has been through many wars. America fought in World War I and II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Bay of Pigs invasion, the invasion of Iraq, and many more. According to PBS.org, the total number of Americans killed in all U.S. wars is more than 1.1 million. More than 1.1 million American people gave their lives for the freedom of this country. My grandfather is a Navy veteran. Although he wasn't directly in danger for most of his wartime, he served our country as a petty officer second and helped to protect U.S. citizens during the Vietnam War. I believe that veterans and people in the military are some of the bravest people. Veterans are among few people who can say that they have risked their lives for the benefit of others. They saw what was happening and decided to make a difference by serving their country. They are modern-day heroes. There are many fights for freedom going on throughout the country. Activists are advocating for equal rights, confronting injustices and standing up against them. Our country has a long way to go until all citizens are truly considered equal. But living in America makes these freedoms achievable. Our country provides opportunities for growth when others fail. When soldiers fight for our country, they provide the citizens' rights. They fight for the possibility of change. They provide hope for an even brighter future.
Great job, GRACYN. And now I will call up Ella Lip.
Freedom is the definitive soul of this nation. That isn't a question in the mind of any true American. Since the birth of our nation nearly 300 years ago, freedom has never been a question of if, but has always, in one way or another, been a question of how. The instances in this country where we have been at our weakest have almost always had to do with the question of when. The holders of freedom in America should always be respected, because without them, we have no nation. In other words, without freedom, America cannot stand. Our freedom has always been at risk, but has never been truly taken, thanks to our brave and admirable veterans. This November 11th will be the 101st celebration of freedom keepers in this country. However, freedom has been at risk since long before then. As America grew as a global superpower, so did other nations' jealousy and admiration. Since independence of our country was won in September 1783, our country has rarely been at peace with another nation or alliance, or even ourselves. My grandfather served briefly in the Air Force before becoming a chemist for the U.S. military. While he served in the Air Force during peacetime, and I unfortunately never got the chance to talk to him about it, I think that all veterans, no matter how they served, deserve recognition and respect. As a chemist, he helped soldiers overseas and helped them in many different ways. I respect them for this because I believe that it gave me a better understanding of how people can serve in different ways. There are people serving overseas, which is probably what most people think of when they think of the military. Additionally, I know that there are people who make new types of ammunition, help keep soldiers healthy, and everything else. Without the military, our nation would not be even remotely as close to freedom as it is today. Our men and women fighting for us are giving our government the room to achieve total freedom and equality, and for that, they deserve more than they could ever receive. I know that our men and women overseas are heroes without capes, and that they are the soul of this nation. Thank you for your service.
Excellent essay, Ella. Our third essay will be read by Anthony Moore.
As we express our gratitude, we must not forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter these words, but to live by them. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of America, spoke these words in the ceremony of Veterans Day honoring soldiers. I chose this quote because my family has a history of being in the military and choosing jobs that help people. For me, freedom means being thankful for the rights I have and then showing my thanks by making a positive impact on other people's lives, just like my family does. My grandpa served in the Navy in World War II, and my great uncle flew fighter jet. My grandfather spent 2 years as a radar technician on a destroyer in the Pacific Ocean when he was 18 years old. Even though I never met him, I've heard many stories about his life during and after the war. These stories all go along the lines that he was a kind, loving man. When he came home from the war, he went to college at Rutgers on the GI Bill and then became a principal of a school. Sadly, he passed away from cancer when my father was 14. My dad always says that his dad had made a positive impact on him and taught him how to treat people. Another impact my grandfather had on my dad is the way my father wants to change the world for the better. I know that my father has changed my life for the better and my two sisters' lives too. My dad has helped the lives of many of his students. If you do not know, my dad is a superintendent and he loves to help kids out when they're having trouble at home or at school. My grandfather has definitely left his mark in the world, and so has my dad. Freedom is not just what a person receives from the United States, it is what a person gives to others by their actions. We are obligated to pass on this freedom to the next generation. The quote also says we must not utter these words, but live by them. My father and his father have done their jobs, and now it is time for me. I'm only 13 years old, but this does not mean I can make an impact on other people's lives. Whether I'm a soldier or not, I can still fight for people's freedoms and make good trouble, like John Lewis said. I believe that people should have a freedom from being poor and a freedom from violence, and that all people should have a right to vote. I plan to live these words by what I do in my life.
Fantastic job, Anthony. 3 wonderful essays written by 3 talented students. Now, I would like to introduce Joe Parado, a Marine Corps veteran, 50-year resident of Fairhaven, Memorial Park Committee member, and a life member of the Fairhaven Fire Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I begin, I would like to wish all my fellow veterans a happy, healthy, and safe Veterans Day. I thank you all for your service to our country, and I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for the sacrifices you made while serving in the armed forces. On this day, Fairhaven, along with the rest of our nation, honors and recognizes all those brave men and women who have served their country defending our freedoms and way of life. The Wall of Honor at Norwood School was commissioned and created in 2011 to recognize and honor those Norwood graduates who are currently serving their country on active duty. As chairman of that display, I am well aware that before that Wall of Honor was created, there were many other heroes who attended Norwood who we should recognize and honor as well for their service. Today's speaker is a man who fits that mold and who I am honored to introduce. He grew up in Fairhaven and graduated from Norwood School in 1987. He attended Rumford Fairhaven Regional High School and continued his education at Bucknell University. After graduating from Bucknell in 1995, he enlisted in the Armed Forces of the United States, and after completing boot camp and officers candidate school, he received a commission in 1997 as a lieutenant in the United States Army. After completing his service in the United States Army and embarking on a short career as a salesman of medical supplies, our speaker decided to continue his service to his fellow man in law enforcement and joined the Rumson Police Department in 2004. In 2013, he moved back to Fairhaven with his wife Amy to raise their 3 children. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce today's speaker, BRYAN Dougherty.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good morning. To Mayor LUCARELLI and Fairhaven's Town Council, to Mr. Joe Parado, who heads Fairhaven's mission to honor veterans and service members, to our Recreation Director, DJ Breckenridge, I sincerely thank you for the opportunity to be today's guest speaker. I'm truly humbled to be here honoring American servicemen and women with you all, even if it is during a global pandemic and done remotely. It's so 2020. But in true military spirit, we will adapt and overcome, and hopefully share with you all some words of what Veterans Day means to me. A few days ago, I saw something that sparked some thought, a poem by Shel Silverstein called The Voice. There is a voice inside of you that whispers all day long. I feel that this is right for me. I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise men can decide what's right for you. Just listen to that voice that speaks inside. So I wondered, what makes somebody want to be a soldier, a sailor, a Marine, or airman? What makes them all end up with the common goal of potentially one day putting their life on the line and fighting for freedom? I truly believe it's one's own personal saga of answering that call to serve, truly listening to their voice inside. I think everyone has their own story, or their own voice inside, if you will. And mine didn't manifest itself until halfway through my senior year in college. That's when I decided a military background would be beneficial for some other endeavors down the road. So it was not long after that that I told my teary-eyed mother that I was going into the Army. I served 4.5 years as an infantry lieutenant, and I am lucky enough to say that my time was rather uneventful. But every year since then, on November 11th, people I don't know, nor know too well, will thank me for my service. It makes me realize the sanctity of this day, how people truly feel inside for those that were able to answer the call. I personally am very humbled with that simple gesture of thanking me for my time in the service. If this were normal times, this park would be filled with all types of vets. Some from the most recent conflicts, some vets from the Vietnam War, maybe a few from the Korean War. And I know Mr. Taylor will be right there, representing all the soldiers from the Second World War. There would be ladies and gentlemen just like me, veterans who served with honor during times of peace. To all of you, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your selfless service and answering your call to duty. Sometimes I get caught up thinking of times past in respect to military service, thinking of the nostalgia that we see on the TV screen or in the movies. Much has changed in this crazy world since the days of Pearl Harbor 77 years ago. Men and women of that era, often called the greatest generation, used core values as a compass to help us triumph over the greatest threat of the time. Those values, personal responsibility, integrity, humility, work ethic, commitment, and service, all to make our way of life what it is today. Those same values echo true today as men and women swear to uphold an oath to try to make today better for my children's tomorrow. So as much as I want to pay reverence to those who have come before, I want to recognize the servicemen and women of today. They're going to have to be the next greatest generation, answering their call to serve in a time that is like no other. I won't stand up here today and be an advertisement for the local recruitment center, but I will say that this community has continually, year after year, had many fine young men and women go off to serve our great nation. They, like the vets I acknowledged before, have admirably placed their lives on the line for our freedom. These are ordinary people from a small town, not looking for any special recognition or thanks. It is with that spirit of selflessness that the Wall of Honor at Knollwood School was established to commemorate and honor them. To each member on that wall, I salute you and thank you today. But not everybody was put on this earth to be a general. And Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I feel like it's a day to remember what they or we stood for. A day for us to remember to protect those freedoms that we have and the freedoms of so many generations to come. So I challenge us all to continue to take the core values we see in all of our great vets and try to use them in whatever walk of life we do. Trying to make this community one of inclusion, our little Two River area, one where we teach our kids the values of integrity and hard work. Trying to cultivate a culture where we can commit to a better tomorrow by being great today. I have been to many funerals of servicemen and women over the years. I saw family members able to wipe away tears just long enough to accept a folded flag presented to them on behalf of a grateful nation. I know a day will come for all of us, and I hope we can be ever present in that moment, looking down to know what our service meant during our time here on Earth. So in closing, I would like to publicly thank you for your recognition of all the soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and airwomen. We all feel the admiration, and thank you for acknowledging us, for answering our voice that told us to be part of something that nobody will ever be able to take away. Thank you, and may you all continue to be safe in your daily lives. And to all our local servicemen and women throughout the world, please know we are thinking of you, thankful for your service, and praying for your safe return to Fairhaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Brian. Very powerful words. At this time, I'll read off the names of the organizations who have provided wreaths for today's ceremony. Fairhaven Business Association, Fairhaven Fire Works, Fairhaven Volunteer Fire Company, Fairhaven PBA 184, Fairhaven Historical Association, Fairhaven Mayor and Council, Fairhaven First Aid Squad, Fairhaven Auxiliary, Fairhaven Board of Education. Thank you to all those groups who provided wreaths. These wreaths are a show of gratitude for those who have served our country. And of course, it wouldn't be Fairhaven Veterans Day service without a few words from Fairhaven's favorite veteran, 98-year-old Ray Taylor. Please listen closely as Ray recounts some of his memories from his days in the United States Army.
You're going by, and I remember those days when I spoke to different young fellows, men, about the wars. The Second World War was my...
And a very special thanks to the Foundation of Fairhaven, Tyler Breckenridge, and especially DJ Breckenridge for putting this event together.
Hello, Fairhaven. My name is Joshua Zager. I'm a proud graduate of Knollwood, RFH, and I'm a U.S. Marine. We are so happy to be able to live in Fairhaven, and I'd like to wish all our veterans a very happy Veterans Day. God bless the United States of America.
I'm Al Zager. I served in the Navy JAG Corps in the mid-70s. I want to thank my fellow veterans in Fairhaven and around the world for their service to our wonderful country.
Hello everyone, happy Veterans Day. My name is Mark Molyneux. I'm a Fairhaven veteran, United States Navy. I'm going to miss seeing all you guys in person. Ray, I'm going to certainly miss sitting next to you in person this year. We'll do it again next year. I just wanted to show everyone a picture, give a shout out to my fellow sailors and the crew of the USS Gary FFG 51. 2 tours in the Persian Gulf, came home without a scratch. So happy Veterans Day, everyone, and happy Veterans Day, Fairhaven.
I'm Jim Heller. I've been a resident of Fairhaven since 1978. I served in the United States Army from February 1969 to January 1971. Happy Veterans Day.
Jeff Carter, served in U.S. Army, Headquarters Company, 2nd Battalion, 502nd Infantry, 101st Airborne Division, Screaming Eagles. South Korea, 257 Signal Company, Fort Monmouth, ERADCOM, and served as Honor Guard in Fairhaven Memorial Service.
I'm Henry Stevens, and I'm a veteran of the United States Navy, and I want to wish all the veterans and all the citizens of Fairhaven a happy Veterans Day.